everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here with some news about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and some others that were involved in the child trafficking ring that, of course, was connected to the government, whether the U.S., Israeli, other governments around the world, British government. Obviously, there's a lot of connections there regarding a huge blackmail ring that was used to basically make politicians, celebrities, bankers, businessmen compliant with whatever they were told to do by a deep, dark state, if you will. So we're going to go into that and much more as we see this article out of Law and Crime that says, federal judge orders several secret Jeffrey Epstein documents to be released by Thursday. So before we go into that, make sure to hit that like button, check those links below, share this on social media to get around the shadow banning. Obviously join our newsletter at www.iambanned.com. We really appreciate all of you guys for keeping us alive, as we are completely viewer funded and we've been completely demonetized. So check the links for GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar, Bitcoin, our CoinTree address that allows you to send a bunch of different cryptocurrencies as well to us. So we really appreciate anything that helps keep us alive and keeps us going so that we can bring the truth to you, the viewer. It's very important. And also join us on Flote.app, BitChute, LBRY, and Minds. We won't be on YouTube much longer, evidently, because of these kinds of videos. Anyway, let's get into this. As this article says, federal judge orders several secret Jeffrey Epstein documents to be released by Thursday. And as the article goes into, a federal judge on Tuesday ordered several documents related to a now settled defamation case against deceased sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, his alleged accomplice, a global sex trafficking empire, to be released to the public no later than July 30th. U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska last week was unpersuaded by Maxwell and her attorney's arguments in favor of keeping the files under seal. The judge reasoned that the Maxwell argument carried little legal weight when balanced against the public's right to transparency. A critical Preska said Maxwell's attorney offered little more than her ipse dixit, a Latin term meaning an unproven assertion, in advocating to keep the documents from being released. The documents slated for release include Maxwell's 2016 deposition, her correspondence with Epstein, and a deposition from attorney and former Harvard Law School professor Alan Dershowitz. Dershowitz has staunchly denied allegations that he engaged in any sexual activity with any of the girls or women associated with Epstein. And I quote here, it says, in her first deposition, which is among the documents being considered on this motion, Ms. Maxwell refused to testify as to any consensual adult behavior and generally disclaimed any knowledge of underage activity, Preska said during the hearing, referring to testimony quoted in her federal indictment. Carrying on, we see this article out of The Guardian, as it says, Ghislaine Maxwell, lawyers ask judge to stop accusers from posting evidence online. They've been saying basically that this is very confidential information. Well, that's a legal term that the government would use. I mean, honestly, it's pretty obvious to me that this whole case is being whitewashed here in order to protect the government, really. At the end of the day, we're dealing with the government. The government was involved evidently, especially with the plea deals that they got, and the people involved in the past cases saying that they were told that Epstein was an agent. Epstein, who of course did not kill himself in jail. Epstein was an agent of the state, and that's why they gave him the sweetheart plea deal in the first place. They don't want this kind of stuff getting out, so they're going to whitewash this to the best of their ability. And that's why we see things like this from The Independent. Ex-Trump aide Scaramucci says president's well wishes to Ghislaine Maxwell are coded message. Please don't talk. President's past association with Jeffrey Epstein has been downplayed in recent years. Trump definitely had a lot of connections with Epstein. Obviously, there was a legal case involving him and Epstein and a young girl. It's irresponsible for us to make politics of it, and I think that's exactly what they are doing, because obviously they're going to say, oh, well, one side will only say Clinton, the other side will only say Trump. The facts of the matter are that a lot of people on both sides of the political spectrum and outside or whatever were involved with Epstein, whether it be people like Kevin Spacey and, Harvey Weinstein, people like Dershowitz, people like, Richard Branson. There's a bunch of different people that were involved with him in one way or another, including Barr. I think it's really important to point this out because what they're going to do is they're going to use this and distract us once again by misdirecting us so that I haven't seen any photos of Ghislaine Maxwell yet after being arrested. I'm still very suspicious of all of this, that it's even her. But with that said, what are they going to do? If she doesn't end up dead, then it's obvious that they're going to be using her words to bring down specific people to cut her, some slack. So maybe it'll be Trump. Maybe she'll only say, oh, it's Trump and this Republican, and then let everyone off the hook. I think it's very simple that, obviously these guys are going to try to utilize this case to misdirect people and pin it on certain people and not the entirety of the issue. It's a CIA term called a limited hangout operation. A limited hangout operation is about telling some of the truth but not all the truth to distract people from the entirety of the truth. This is a perfect example of this. This is exactly what I think is going to happen. So people on the right, if it's Donald Trump, will say, oh, it's all nonsense. And then people on the left will say, see, Epstein's all just Republicans that are involved in this, not, the whole U.S. government, the organized crime racket we call government. And then on the other side, if it's just Clinton, it'll be like, oh, well, see, it's only the Democrats that are doing it. Then people on the left will say, oh, it's conspiracy theory nonsense, even though the case is right there. And then people on the right will use it. It's really obvious that they're trying to politicize something that should not be politicized, which is the rape of children, which is the kidnapping of children, which is the spread, trafficking of children all over the world. Hundreds of thousands of children have gone missing. I mean, it's absolutely insane what we're witnessing, and they misdirected because they're getting caught red-handed. If you think they were worried about Epstein, I mean, think about it in this light. They were less worried about everyone obviously seeing that Epstein was killed by the government than the potential of Epstein speaking. So they either killed him or sent him to an island somewhere or send him to Israel, wherever, we're on a beach somewhere, and claim that he died. Whatever it might have been, he didn't kill himself. His brother says he didn't kill himself. Michael Baden, who did an autopsy allegedly on Jeffrey Epstein, says it was homicide. I mean, if they were less worried about that coming out than Epstein talking, then that says all you really need to know about this Ghislaine case, and they will not allow Ghislaine to speak. Ghislaine, who has a lawyer who works for the same firm that worked with the John Benet Ramsey case, which I did a video on recently that weirdly actually was allowed to go viral, has about 200,000 views now up on our channel that you guys can check out, the John Benet Ramsey connection to Epstein. But anyway, I believe that they're whitewashing this whole thing, making it political, just like they whitewash the whole situation with, for example, the situation in Minneapolis with the riots. They turn it from an anti-government thing into a racial thing, and now everyone's clashing against each other. Or, for example, with the mask issue, they've turned it into a political thing rather than just an issue of consent. They are taking us and playing us against each other while they twiddle their fingers and laugh at us because it distracts us from the real enemy. Them, the people who are molesting children, trafficking children, and then using it as blackmail against other people to get their way around every politician. This is sick, what we're witnessing. And also, there's other people at play here, as this article from the Daily Mail says. Exclusive, elusive Epstein sex ring recruiter who lured young women to financier's pedophile island is spotted starting her new life in Los Angeles as friends insisted she was a victim too. Natalia Malishev, 38, is accused of recruiting young women for Jeffrey Epstein to sexually abuse in early 2000s. Exclusive DailyMail.com pictures show her running errands in Los Angeles neighborhood while wearing a purple sports top, running pants, and sneakers. If you go down here, we see a photo of her, no red shoes. All right. But just someone we should also be looking into as well. You'd think she'd utilize the mask for the one thing it's actually useful for in this case. And also keep in mind, though, that Epstein had his upper Manhattan mansion. He also had a ranch in New Mexico, one of the most corrupt states in the United States. I just witnessed that personally from going through New Mexico, where Bill Clinton stayed regularly with his whole family yearly at this estate, which was equipped with security cameras everywhere, allegedly for blackmail. And on top of that, when you go there, they had a schoolhouse, a fake schoolhouse, a saloon, and an underground bunker of some kind. Again, more examples of the creepiness that obviously it appeared that 100% he was getting blackmail on politicians. So we shouldn't make this political. We should make this about saving the children First of all, the government, by the way, being one of the big, legally kidnapping millions of children, ruining lives, pushing them into child prostitution. This has all been exposed time and time and time and time and time again. Biggest, like, MVP at killing children overseas. Don't listen to anything they say in their investigation into themselves on this case. Again, why would they tell the truth? And why would we get the right information? We should be pressing harder and harder every day, especially with the recent death of this, the judge's son, who was looking into the Deutsche Bank Jeffrey Epstein connection. I mean, this is all insane. A journalist was recently caught working with Ghislaine to keep things out of the papers. I mean, this is just, it goes all the way to the top. ABC News obviously getting caught with Disney, suppressing information for years at the demand of of the Clintons and of the royal family, who was also suppressing information at BBC from regarding Jimmy Savile, one of the most notorious pedophiles of all time. Well, this is sick. We need to stand up. And by the way, these videos keep getting taken down, videos on this subject, which tells you everything you need to know about YouTube. So make sure to hit that like button, share on social media, and join us in at our other alternative social media platforms like Flote.app, BitChute, LBRY, and Minds. It's time to get off YouTube. We will be back, or we will be off by November 5th off of YouTube. Remember the 5th of November, only posting trailers to our full videos on YouTube with our full videos on these other platforms. Also join our newsletter at www.iambanned.com. And of course, we are completely demonetized here on YouTube. So make sure to check out our links to GoFundMe, Subscribestar, Patreon. You can pledge on Flote.app as well. In crypto, we have Bitcoin below. We have a bunch of crypto addresses at our CoinTree linked below. Help us out any way we can, any way you can, in order to keep us alive so we can continue bringing this information to the masses, to the people, to the individuals, and break free from the paradigm of slavery that we have all entered into quite willingly, unfortunately. We need to break free. We need to be responsible. We need to be independent individuals and break apart from this disgusting racket immediately. The clock is ticking. It should have happened years ago. We need to break free, my friends. Live by example. Stand up. Anyway, I really appreciate everyone watching us today. And until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth. Be the change. My friends, it is go time. We are completely demonetized on YouTube, and we depend on the viewer to stay alive and spread the message of freedom and truth. So check those links below. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar, anything you guys could do to help keep independent media alive helps enormously in helping spread this message to the masses. So make sure to check those links. Donate to our Bitcoin address on the screen or below. We really appreciate anything you could do to keep us alive. You could check those links below for CoinTree as well, where you can find other cryptocurrencies that you can donate and keep WAM alive. Find us on Flote.app, FLOTE.app, as well as BitChute and LBRY and Minds. We're on all the other platforms. We are leaving YouTube soon, so make sure to find us at those sites, because it's the only way we can keep talking to you, the masses, the great people that actually care about the future of free humanity. Also, join our new newsletter at www.iambanned.com. Anything helps at this point, guys. We need to support free information online. This is the most difficult time in our history, and it takes a lot of hard work to keep our message alive in the face of great evils that have taken over the propaganda news on television as well as on YouTube, where YouTube decides what you can or cannot see. We need your help, my friends. So I really appreciate anything you guys can do. Check those links. There's many ways you can help. Until next time, though, thanks, everyone. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth. Be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.
Bye.